Now, I'll put links in the description to everything I've got here, but this is Jun the Swan from the Instagram page for CA3D. They've also got a Patreon, they've got a Gumroad, and everything has been printed on the HeyGears RS Turbo using Inslogic Blue Grey. I used open mode on this machine with an exposure of 2.1 seconds, and it's printed beautifully. I printed the main body, as you can see there, and I printed the wings. If you want to see a video about open mode, I'll put a link at the end for you, but it's printed absolutely gorgeous on this machine. What I did as well, I printed other bits and pieces on the Creator 5 by FlashForge. I printed the base on this. Now, this is a multi-head, multicolour printer, but I just used one colour because you, of course, can do that, and it came out so beautiful. It's perfect, absolutely wonderful using the one colour, as you can see there. I wanted to print something a little bit larger than the Creator 5 allowed, so I printed the motorbike section on my S1 Max from Anycubic using some wonderful FlashForge pink PLA, and again, this has come out just beautiful. Don't worry about the pink. You could leave it pink if you like, but I won't be. It's just printed lovely. HeyGears again, but this time the Reflex 2, and I did a couple of things on this. I did her little beak, her fluorescent nosy beaky thing, and I also did the plasma blasty things on it too. Again, they come out wonderful on the Reflex 2. Now, like any prints, you're going to need to do a little post-prep work, and here I'm using a bit of sandpaper. I think it's 400 grit to just clean that resin up. Now, I'm using this wonderful gadget, which is an extraction unit. I think it's designed for people that paint their nails, but it sucks into like a vented filter, and it gets all that dust particles from the resin as you're sanding it straight into the filter, so you don't have to breathe it in and it doesn't go all around your room. And I'm also using here a rotary tool with a wire brush head, just again to do exactly the same thing and make it nice and even and smooth. It does a great job, this does. I'll link it all in the end for the description so you know exactly what I'm using here, but it really does make cleanup a lot easier. I'm also going to do it on the transparent part because I want to get that as clean as I can, because I'm going to try and make that as transparent as I can. So I've used that wire brush on the rotary tool on that too, and I'm just going to finish that off with some 1500 grit sandpaper just to get it as smooth as I can, to get it as transparent as I can. Here's the base. I didn't need to do any work on that really, apart from take the supports off. That was easy. And here's the pink section. Not a lot to do on this. There's a few little bit of stringy bits, so I'm just going to get that rotary tool on there, and I'm just going to tidy up a few bits on it. I didn't need to do a vast amount on this base, to be honest, but a little bit of tidying up just makes things a little bit better. Here's the wings, which I've glued together just using some super glue, but there is a little bit of a gap where they're joined together. So a little trick of the trade that I use is one of these little precision bottles with exactly the same resin in, and I just squeeze that into the gap. I'm allowed to, or it lets me go into the finest details with those precision bottles. I guess that's why they're called precision bottles. Just smooth it over with my thumb, take it out into the sunshine, it cures, and then it's time for a little bit of Army Painter white to matte everything up. Now, you may need to sand those wings if that join's a bit bubbly. It wasn't on mine, so I didn't really need to. And once everything has had some primer over, I'm going to take some gloss varnish and I'm just going to blast over that nose cone. I did the outside, let it dry thoroughly, turned it over, and then done the inside of it, and that's just shined it up nicely for the next step, which we'll come to. As you can see there, it looks nice and clean. It's not 100% perfect, but you know what, I don't want it to be. I think I'm happy with where we sit there. Now I'm going to take some of this Kaleido varnish. I'm using their matte variety, and I'm just going to cover everything over. All my white paintwork I'm going to cover across with varnish. Now this will protect that paintwork, because our next stages are probably going to get it a little bit dirty potentially. Well, I definitely am. Wait and see. Then I took some of this Fey Pink, which is an Army Painter air paint, and I'm sorry it's a bit over white balanced exposed here. I've got too many lights pointing at it, but I think you get the gist of exactly what I'm doing for this section. I'm just using my glary airbrush, using that pink paint to paint over the pink sections of her and get her nice and pink. And I think this pink matches the reference colours that I've used, which you also get when you download the files. Nice and easy to do. The air paints go on a treat. The glary airbrush is wonderful. And again, now for some skin tones, I'm using the Triad colour, again from Army Painter. I've just masked off the pink using some simple masking paste, and I'm going to start off with the Nomad Flesh across the model, giving it a complete coat across, all over the legs, all over the arms, all over with the face to an even coat of Nomad Flesh on there. Once I've done all that and I've got the whole thing painted to that base flesh layer colour, and flesh doesn't need to be difficult, I'm taking Barbarian Flesh and I'm just going to come down, top down, almost like a zenithal shade to give it a different shade of pinky skin colour across all the areas, including the face, the arms, the legs, etc. And if you look what I do here with the face especially, I just use it straight top down. Once I've done that, I'm going to go to the lighter colour, the Wildling Flesh, and I'm just going to blast that across on the outer edges, on the highest points, just to make the skin tones a little bit more interesting. It's as simple as that. Don't make skin painting too complicated. Now, just before we carry on, today's video hasn't been sponsored by anyone. Hang on, just wiping a tear from my eye. But I have been sent something really interesting that is kind of 3D printed related that I want to share with you guys. Now today we're looking at something a little different from the usual 3D printing gear. This is the UB01, a 27 litre everyday backpack that combines a sleek futuristic design with some genuinely interesting 3D printing technology. It weighs in at just 1.15 kilograms and fits laptops up to 16 inches. It's got plenty of internal organisation and uses water resistant materials with waterproof zips, making it ideal for commuting or travel. The standout feature is the back panel. Instead of traditional foam padding, uses an industrially 3D printed honeycomb lattice made from a proprietary elastomer resin. This open structure is designed to improve airflow, flex with your back and distribute weight more evenly for greater comfort. Now, it's paired with ergonomic S-shaped shoulder straps. It's a unique approach to backpack design that brings advanced manufacturing into everyday use. It's around about 183 quid. It's definitely a premium backpack. So the big question is whether that 3D printing backpack system offers benefits over a conventional design. Well, I took it for a spin across the Worcestershire countryside, and yes, it is comfortable, it is very, very lovely to wear, and those padded 3D printed back sections really do make it comfortable. If you want to get hold of one, I'll put some links in the description below. Now back to the painting, and I'm using some ivory. Guess what I'm going to be doing? Yes, eyes. I'm doing the sclera of her eyes with this ivory colour, not using white. I don't want them to be grey. I just want a nice creamy colour, and that's what I'm using this for. And I'm taking my time with a very small brush, and I'm just going to blob that in there, keeping away from my skin tones. I don't want to ruin those. Before taking a little bit of brink black, and yeah, what was I saying? It's all over me. It's all over the white, but I will fix it. And I'm just going to do the eyelashes with that black carefully because I don't want to get any more on there. Just take your time with it. Get your little goggles on if you've got some so you can see exactly what's going on, and enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. Yes, there she is. All finished with the ivory and the black, and now I'm going to use a little bit of a red tone to paint her lips. You don't need to use a vast stark colour. This red tone in a couple of layers will just give it a lovely natural pink colour, unless you want her to look like she's got bright red lips, in which case use bright red. I'm going to use some Witch's Brew now to paint in the irises, and they are going to go looking to her right, our left, and I'm just going to make sure I get them in the place where I want them. A little bit of pink as well, you notice, underneath them above the eyeliner. Again, adds a little bit of colour to the eyes, and voila! There are the pupils facing in the right direction. That wasn't hard, was it? Those eyes have not been too difficult to do. I'm going to take some orc skin and paint her hair. The only other thing I did with the eyes was I took a bit of that red wash and I just painted it over the pink at the bottom of the eyes and dropped a bit into the corners of the eyes as well. So she's got a little bit more pink and a little bit more life in her. There's her eyelashes, her eyebrows are all greened up with that little curl in the middle of her forehead, also greened. And I'm just going to take some of that white now, just some natural white paint, and I'm just going to go over where I've overspilled with the skin tones or got me grubby little black painted hands on her head, giving it a coat of that to make her look nice and white. Now for some orange, and obviously she's got those little markings on her helmet, so I'm just going to do it. I'll give it about 2 coats of this. This is the first coat, and then I went over it again really finely to make sure I've got all the right edges of that all sorted. And there she is, all done with her orange on there. She's also got those little round, almost like eyes on the top of it, and I found this colour, this burnt red colour, to match the reference pictures, so painted that on. That had 2 layers of that, and that done a lovely job. And then I'm going to stick on her green hair, and on that goes. And once that's on, that hides some of the top of her head. But doesn't she look great? I really do like the way that's come out. And painting that face was not hard, but looks really good. I glued on then this beaky thing that I painted. This is how I painted that. I just took some of this Kaleido orange colour, and I very gently just showed it the orange paint. I didn't want it to be completely orange, because don't forget I want it to be see-through, but I just showed it a bit of orange paint on the airbrush, just so it makes it a little bit orange, and you can still see through it, and it's got a bit of texture to it. And I'm really chuffed with how Jun the Swan's beaky bit has come out. I'm really pleased with that. I think it looks lovely. I took some more Kaleido paint, some nice red colour, because part of her cloak is red, the inner part, and the outer part is white. So again, just using my airbrush, just using that red paint and taking my time and being careful. I just got it all on there. I didn't want any overspill onto the white on the inside, because that would have just took forever to put right. And then I took some Karlsborg crimson just to go into the little folds to darken up and add a little bit of character to the cape. Some pure red next, and she's got this I think it's like almost like a phoenix thing. I think, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So 2 layers of that straight over the pink. I watered this down a little bit to make it flow easier. Then I took a few other bits and pieces of some jiggery bits. There's a blue band and a yellow buckle on her hand and a buckle on the middle, etc. So I did all those little bits before taking a little bit of primer, Kaleido primer, again in my airbrush. It's another gallery airbrush here, and I'm just blasting that primer all the way on, all the way across. So I don't want it to be pink. I really don't. It's not pink in the reference pictures, and I want to give it a black. And if I'd have done this in black PLA in the first place, I'd have probably made my life a little bit easier, but I had some pink lying around, so I used it, and there it is, all primed up. I masked off the wheel section to keep that nice and black. Now don't worry about the pink that you saw, because that goes on the base, you won't see it. And I took some of this orange colour and blasted it all over. Again, I just looked at the reference pictures, and I tried the best I could to match the reference pictures to the paints that I've got. They may not be perfect, but they are as close as I can get it with the paints that I have to my disposal. And this is just some basic orange paint going on there before I moved on to some of this champagne gold to try to give it a kind of goldy look. Not Goldilocks, that's a different thing altogether, goldy look, and I think I've achieved that. So I also then took some of this darker gold just to add some shadows into the bottom of the motorbike, just to make it look again a little bit different. I'm going to add some aging and some blackening to this as well to tarnish it up a little bit, but I'm quite happy with how that's gone. Now some spaceship interior on a dry brush for the rocks, and I am just dry brushing across all of those. My favourite technique in the world is dry brushing, and I love dry brushing rocks. It makes me happy. Yes, I'm very sad, but look how cool that looks. It's just simple to do, and it's a wonderful, wonderful effect. I took some of this streaking grime as well, and I spared no parsnips with this. I just popped it on nice and thick in all the nooks and crannies, just to add that real sort of mouldy look to it, I guess, before taking some more nice bright red, masking off the stripe down the side of the bike and airbrushing that across. And I'm glad I masked it off, because the edges look really crisp. And again, don't forget, I said I'm going to age it up, which I am, but that red arrow thing on the bike definitely needs a blast all across. And look at that. Oh, it's looking really cool, isn't it? Oh, awesome. Really do enjoy this old hobby, and I hope you enjoy it too. Some dark tone next on a ripped in half makeup brush, and I'm just going to splodge and splatter this on there just to make that gold look a little bit old and a little bit tarnished and a little bit worn and aged, It's not hard to do, is it? It's really easy. A little bit of this panel line wash as well. Now this goes a little bit differently on PLA than it does on resin. It doesn't pull quite as well, but the effect it gave was just as good. Lead belcher next. I need to paint the inner part of the wheel. I've left, of course, the tyre section black, and the inner part gets a silver wisps all across it just to get that to look like an actual wheel. And this is coming on nicely. These are the parts, and I want your opinion on this. These are those clear parts, and they are like bolt blasts. Shall I leave them clear? Shall I paint them a different colour? What do you guys think? I want your input here to what I do with them. I think they look great with a pink light in the background. I think they like shine up. Do I make them look like flames? What do you think I do with them? Do I leave them? Do I do something with them? Let me know in the comments. And here is Jun the Swan. Well, I'm not going to lie, that one is a real nostalgic one for me. It takes me straight back to the 1970s when I was a wee bairn. I've really enjoyed making Jun the Swan by CA3D. I'll put all the links in the description down below. Just want to say thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know by liking. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. That would be great. Thank you. We do have a Greedy 3D Patreon, and you are welcome to join that. Thank you to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Let me know what you think in the comments of what you've seen today. Let me know about these clear bits as well. What should I do with them? And I will see you next time on Greedy 3D.